Sexy Rexy out at the State Department. Mike Pompeo in at the State Department. The first female CIA director. But hey, no chaos. It's East Coast Radio.
Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. But that's okay, cause I don't like y'all anyway. Man, I don't like y'all anyway.
We need to pay attention to all this stuff. And don't muddy the waters. Don't let your mind get sidetracked. Because you need to remember that when, it's going to be time to vote again soon. So it's going to be local elections, all this stuff, everything, all these elections. You have to remember that the Republicans would rather collude with Russians than collude with Americans.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Donald Trump is a white supremacist who enables white supremacists. No lie. I mean, that's accurate. It's an accurate assessment of the situation.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Dragnets. How do they work? Just say no. Yeah. Here's the problem with just saying no. You can go about your life trying not to do drugs, but you turn on the news and you see Wigmaster over there talking about public health emergencies. That's why drugs are hard to stop. Because of people like that. Big week. It's always a big week. Can't we please have an uneventful week? That's all I want. All I want is one.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Oh, Jay, why are you wearing that resist shirt? What are you resisting? Bunch of isms and trees. Bigotry, misogyny, racism, fascism, and sexism. The people here are the people on the South Shore, in the rich neighborhoods, the richer neighborhoods, not the poor neighborhoods, are brought up on bigotry, hatred, and classification of, societal roles.
Hey, yo. Who's in the house? Dyze in your house. What goes on, peeps? What is the word? J Porks here, coming to you with another action-packed edition, another Friday edition of Dyze in your house. That is on East Coast Radio, and you know where to get that. You just go to iTunes, you hit subscribe, you like, you share it, you tell your friends that it's East Coast Radio for the least heard voices. And every Friday, here's what we do. Because on Mondays, we have the J Porks podcast. I call it the After the Weekend podcast. We have that on the Dara Network. We go deep into things like Russia, into things like collusion, into things like the downfall of American democracy and the rise of fascism in this country, and the open rise of fascism. We talk about that. We delve into things that are systemic issues in that this regime has over us, that is in the impending doom of America. We talk about that every week on the J Porks podcast. I used to try to be funny. Now I just really tell you things that matter to me. I've always told you things that matter to me. This is important, so I have to tell you that. So every Monday you go to andydara.com and you keep it locked for the J Porks podcast. But what this is this is on Fridays, because there's so much. It's so important. We need more. We're gonna need more Porky. That's what they told me. And I gave it to them. They had a prescription, and I filled it on East Coast Radio. So it is Dyze in your house every Friday at or around 6 o'clock. It will be uploaded to YouTube, and then it goes to the podcast app, a little after that. I'm still not sure of the sciences behind how long that actually takes. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 1 minute, sometimes it's 20. So just be on the lookout for that. I love you guys. You know that, right? You know I love you. You know that I wouldn't do this if it didn't matter. I wouldn't be this passionate about something that wasn't important. And it is. And the sovereignty of our nation is important. And we're going to get into all of that. But in the little time we have together, you and I just want to mention a couple of things. First of all, I watched The Beat with Ari Melber. He's great, man. He's so funny. I mean, and he's like so smart. And he's got good segments. He's a lawyer. He likes rap music. So like he says like, in the words of Jay-Z or something like that. So the other day I'm watching him and he was talking about a strategy that Michael Cohen is using. A legal strategy. Whereas, like, he's gonna, whatever. He's gonna say all, this is me breaking the law or me doing shady things is common practice, And then that's the legal strategy he's taking. And Ari Melber called it the Eminem defense. And I quote, as Eminem famously did in a rap battle once, he put all his negative things about him on the table. And he said, and he handed the person, and he said them proudly, handed his opponent the mic, and said, tell these people something they don't know about me. Now that is a fantastic analogy towards the way that Michael Cohen was going about his legal problems as of now, or his whatever legal problems he's about to be in. But that's not, Eminem never actually did that. I know people might think Eminem did that. But that was a scene from a movie, 8 Mile. Marshall Mathers, the human being, was an actor portraying a rapper named B. Rabbit. So, I mean, listen, in Eminem lore, maybe there was some secret underground rap battle where that actually happened. But he was Ari Melber was referencing a scene from the 8 Mile movie without saying that it was a scene from the 8 Mile. He didn't say like it's like in the movie 8 Mile. He said it's like Eminem famously did in a rap battle. Like a rap battle that wasn't. So I thought that was kind of funny. And, you see, you gotta call people out on it. I love watching his show. And I'm gonna tweet at him later. Probably people have tweeted at him already. He'll probably say he meant it. But whatever, I mean, it's funny. So I just wanted to say that. But we don't cover porn stars on Least Coast Radio. And we don't do that on the J Porks podcast either. Because you know what a porn star is? In this fascist regime, a porn star, you might as well, call it. Well, it's like a porn star. What do porn stars do? What do people who have sex on camera for money do? They take the D. And us as the American public, we're not going to become porn stars working for free and take the D. The D means distraction. That's what this fascist regime does. They give you so much that you just want to turn it off. Oh, I don't want to see this anymore. I can't take this anymore. But you have to take it. You have to take it in. You have to understand what's going on. What is happening is dangerous. What is happening is dangerous. The Russians attacked a former Russian spy in the United Kingdom with a chemical nerve agent, that was only, invented, it was only manufactured in Russia. The UK, Germany, France, and reluctantly the United States signed on to a joint statement condemning their actions. They are also a country that interfered in our elections to cost Hillary Clinton the election. A shady politician, but a normal politician. A politician's politician. We got the celebrity apprenticant. The Apprentice. This is not how America's supposed to be run. And there's no people say there's no chaos in the White House. I mentioned last week, Cohn is out. Gary Cohn is out because, apparently, Nazis weren't a red line for him. Tariffs were. So, Gary Cohn's out to go hang with his buddies at Goldman Sachs, cash in his freaking tax cut, become richer, because wealth inequality is a thing and is the only thing growing in this country. Oh my God. We got McMaster's out, or is he? Last night, I'm trying to watch cable news, and in a 40-minute span, H.R. McMaster was fired, Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeted that there was no change, and then General Kelly, it was said that Kelly had been given word that McMaster needs to go. That was 40 minutes. As of press time, about noon Eastern, McMaster is still the National Security Advisor for now, but also John Kelly's going to be gone. Rex Tillerson is out at the State Department after months of saying since he called Trump a moron, he was going to be out at the State Department. He's replaced with Trumpian head of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, which leaves open the CIA director slot to, for the first time in the existence of the agency, be headed by a woman. Now, Me Too. That's all good and gravy, but it happened basically because of Russia. Because Rex Tillerson was the first one to come out and condemn Russia for the nerve attack on that UK spy. Trump didn't like that. Putin called his boyfriend and he said, "Listen, bitch, you best get on the phone with sexy Rexy and you best get rid of this guy." So now, Russia, that's the second Secretary of State that Russia's ousted. Because Mitt Romney was going to be Secretary of State, if you recall. So sexy Rexy's out. I never thought I'd be here at a time where I'd be, upset that Rex Tillerson was out. I'm not upset. I'm just, working for Exxon, he knows all those countries and stuff. The head of the CIA director is now going to run the State Department. That means Trump's going to run the State Department. I don't want Trump running anything. I don't even want Trump running a marathon for charity. I'm sure his doctor would like it, secretly. Not at the press conference, not that crazy doctor. Anyhow, Rex Tillerson's out, Mike Pompeo's in. The new head of the CIA, apparently on Twitter, people were saying that she oversaw torturing during the Bush administration in part of a black ops operation. Now, ProPublica has come out and say that the story that they published saying that was actually not correct, and that she was not the person overseeing the black ops torture operation. So, be careful. Be careful what you read. I don't know which one it is. I gotta read more. But I'm just saying that, in order to protect Russia, protect the Russian asset that is the leader of the new fascist regime that runs America, now we have Mike Pompeo there. Mike Pompeo is the Secretary of State, head of the State Department. And we're going to get rid of McMaster. And the guy who replaced Gary Cohn as chief economic advisor is actually a guy, Larry Kudlow. And he is a guy that promised, he has a CNBC show, by the way. Like, that's where they got him. Trump saw him on TV. He said that the housing market wasn't going to collapse, and he said the economy was going to be fine. He said there was no recession happening. And then, like, a couple of days later, the recession happened. And you know what? Listen, the recession happened, we bailed out banks, and since then they implemented Dodd-Frank, right? To stop these big banks from letting this stuff happen again. And just this week, the Senate passed. They rolled back some of the Dodd-Frank banking regulations. So now the big banks are going to put us in an Occupy Wall Street situation again. Do you want those people in Zuccotti Park? Because think about the kids in Parkland. Think about all those kids, not even in Parkland, across America, who walked out of class on National Walkout Day, showing that they want to take a stand against gun violence in America, and they want America to change some of the laws. that make it so easy for people to get guns and go shoot people. Right? Now imagine if those people get, imagine if those people say, hey, wait a second. I don't like the banks either. What do you think Zuccotti Park's gonna look like in the city? People want to complain. And I got news for you. When the Occupy Wall Street thing was happening, I was a little bit like, you're really fighting, you're fighting something you're not going to win. And I don't think they won anything. And especially with this rollback. They just rolled back all the plans. Not all of them, but most of them. And they got bipartisan support. They got like 10 or 15 Democrats on there. You know they don't have on there? Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren hates that. And, it's going to be one of her things. And what's weird about, what's going on is that this whole chaos theory, it's much like the news cycle where, like, they throw all this stuff at you, so it's just all going to become a blur. Like, in this firing spree, we're watching, like, first, and again, you're in a position where Democrats are going to be angry when Jeff Sessions gets fired. Doesn't that tell you how not normal this situation is? Or how not normal this situation has gotten? Where Democrats are sitting in their house, smoking pot, hoping that their state legalizes marijuana. There's an attorney general out there who's the attorney general of the United States who's against that, who's against marijuana, who says good people don't smoke marijuana, and those people are in their house ready to march if Jeff Sessions gets fired, because firing Jeff Sessions means that Trump could appoint his own a new attorney general who doesn't have to recuse himself from the Russia investigation, who can then oversee it and either fire Mueller or suppress the investigation. The Mueller team has subpoenaed all documents from the Trump organization. That is not the campaign. That is not the White House. That is his business dealings. This is where we're going to get huge financial crimes, which is one of the 4 legs of the Mueller investigation. We got the Russian hacking. We got the first, meddling in the election. We got the hacking. We got the financial crimes. And we got the obstruction. And on that table is the conspiracy to collude with a foreign government. That's the meal that we're going to eat. That Mueller is cooking up for us right now in the kitchen. And that's why voting is so important. And that's why midterm elections is so important. So here's what I need everyone to do. If you're not involved in what's going on locally, I need you to get out there, go to a website, go on Twitter, go on, Facebook, whatever, social media, and I want you to, go check out the pages of your local politicians. Go check out the official websites of local politicians, right? And I need you to see who's running in November in your area, right? And I need you to make sure that you're informed before you go into the voting booth. You can't just take what your aunt at the Thanksgiving table says, You can't take what your parents say anymore. Your parents can't decide where you are politically anymore. I mean, especially because I'm thinking this because I work in a school. I work in an 8th grade class. So those kids are 13, 14. And I saw on the news this week, high school kids and young kids out there marching, and they have a cause, and they're getting politically active. So I feel like I'm talking to kids, but I'm not. I know I'm talking to a lot of people who are my age, and they're like, Jay, what are you talking about? But listen, there are people across the country who might tune into this, who might say, let's see what the liberal snowflake is saying. And they might have paid attention because they think my voice is funny because I'm from Staten Island and I'm a weirdo. So there might have been people that made it this far, so I need them to understand. Midterm elections are so important because the executive branch needs oversight. And right now it's being overseen by Paul Ryan, Paul Ryan and the Republicans who enable Devin Nunes and the House majority over in the Intelligence Committee to end an investigation that is nowhere near over. Nowhere near over. And we're going to cover all of that coming up on Monday on the Jay Porks podcast. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get into more about Mueller's subpoena involving documents for the Trump organization. We are going to deal with, the House Intel Committee, House Majority, Devin Nunes and company, basically ending their investigation into collusion. Basically saying there was no collusion. Which, we knew was a whitewash of an investigation to begin with Devin Nunes in charge of it in the first place, especially after his midnight run to the White House with no pants on. And listen, we're going to cover, because something's going to happen. I know we have 6 hours until this podcast reaches you live, and I know that something else is going to happen, and I'm going to say, oh gosh darn it, I didn't get that into the pod. So we might have to have another one. That's why you have to subscribe to East Coast Radio on iTunes. So in case I get a hankering to spill some truths to you, in case I see something and I see a different angle I want to take to it, you can get all the latest from me, Jay Porks. And you can always get it on East Coast Radio. And that's if you subscribe on iTunes. Just search for Dyze in your house. And that's what we're going to get. And we got a lot of future stuff coming. Listen, there will be podcasts on different subjects. I have a music episode I need to get out there, so it will get out there soon. And we might do that monthly or bi-monthly, depending on, what comes out. Might get into some, funny stuff that I want to talk about. But right now, things are important, and we're focused on resisting. We have to resist fascism. This is not normal. Never, ever normalize this. Keep it locked. Jay Porks dies in your house. Bong.